Hey guys, Possible here. So the other day, they finally released the Biker DLC, and it's pretty damn good. I'm quite impressed. I would say it's probably the best version of, say, Finance and Felony. But here's the thing. One of the bikes here, this one in particular, you can't put bulletproof tires on it. Why can't I put fucking bulletproof tires on this really cool motorcycle? It don't make any sense. There's no good explanation for it. Rockstar, fix that. Come on, it's stupid. What an arbitrary decision. Now, when it comes to the motorcycles themselves, and you see a few of them in the garage right now, they're actually, they're pretty cool. Some of them a bit too similar to the others, so for the most part, if you buy some of the more expensive ones, you should really be satisfied in terms of aesthetics. However, in the legendary sports, there is one particular vehicle they add, which is called the Shitsatsu Hakachu Drag, which is just over in the corner here with the little rainbow color looking livery. And unfortunately, it's got the speed, but it's quite shit on the turns, and in order to make the sharp turns, you have to rely on the brake, and it slows down a bit too much. Whereas the drift, which is the one I'm driving right now, is actually pretty damn good. It's not as fast as the drag, but it's very fast. It's high up there, only a little bit slower in terms of speed, but great acceleration, and it can really make those turns. Another thing, the whole idea of using melee weapons and swinging them from the bike, like hitting like mailboxes. Well, in order to do that, you have to hold down X, and then you press L1 or R1, depending on which side you want to use the melee. If you haven't got anything assigned, you'll kick, but if you do have a weapon, and it actually applies to guns as well, it will use that particular weapon as well in order to actually, it'll use that particular weapon as well in order to swing with, so it looks fucking weird with guns, put it that way. I think that Rockstar really should just restrict that to just, well, whatever. But then again, then you lose out the opportunity to use guns at the same time. Just to my mind, swinging a fucking MG or a what am I? I think I can't even remember what the other one, the AK looking weapon that they added, just looks fucking weird. Apart from that though, you want to be careful. Oh, I will mention one of the weapons they released is the grenade, the short grenade launcher, and it's actually really, really good. It's probably one of the first weapons I've encountered that would make a permanent addition to my combat. And just right now there, exactly. You can now fire explosives from motorcycles. You can dash around all over the map and fucking fire explosives at people. It's fucking awesome and overpowered. The only thing, you can't fire it from, say, cars, for example, but you can definitely use it from the motorcycle. And given that you also have another feature which gives you, like, boost to regeneration of health and defense and attack, if you're on a motorcycle, the same motorcycle that you own, often you'll get bonus features of that. It kind of evens things out. But the only thing I want to stress here is that do be careful when you get into, say, the weapons. There is, you might end up overlooking some of the weapons that have just been released. There's actually, when I did my stream, I found only, 5 weapons. As it turns out, there's quite a few weapons besides that one. I found 2 more besides the ones I had over in the corner. Now, the one that I found is on the far left where all the vanilla weapons are, along with the flashlight. If you go over there, it's called the pole cue, and you can get that weapon there. The other weapon is a throwable bomb. It's called the pipe bomb, and I didn't notice that originally at the time, but it's more like a glorified version of the grenade. It's not all that different. I don't know whether the timing on the actual explosive is different, but it's pretty much the same. The mini hold on, we'll get into that just here. Another thing I just want to mention though is that if you're on the consoles, you will have to scroll down a little bit more with your right thumbstick in order to get to the maze bank. I found that because they've added this new shop for buying motorcycle clubs. You have to, even going down with the D-pad and enough, you have to go down with the right stick to get to it. Just a little nitpick, but it's important if you want to get your money inside the bank quickly. Here is the pole queue, just here. So keep that in mind when you're going through all the DLC weapons, and go over the corner and pick this one up. The other one is over here, next to the sticky bombs and proximity mines, and it's called the pipe bomb, like I said, and yeah, pretty much the same. The other weapons though, like I said, the little short-range grenade launcher just up over here is really good. It's insane. I love this weapon. I actually took out quite a few different supply runs from different motorcycle games just with this one weapon. You also got a new, interesting looking hacks. A sweeper shotgun that is, it looks cool, but I probably wouldn't use it very often. And you've also got a pipe wrench. A wrench over here. The mini SMG has got an insane amount of rate of fire, but not quite as good as the AP because its recoil has a bit of a problem. It's still good. And yes, of course, the pipe wrench is another little interesting addition. Apart from that, that's pretty much it in terms of weapons. I haven't found anything else particularly in this case, and well, that's pretty much it for weapons. I don't see anything new. It's what it is. Now, in terms of clothing, though, there is quite a few additions to everything, including hairstyles, masks. I would say that they've done a really decent job, and for the most part, even the outfit I'm wearing now, I put together partly from different assets, but all from the new DLC, and it looks really fucking cool. Now, I don't know what the male character's like. I haven't really got into my secondary character to have a look at what the clothing is like, but for so far, I'm really pleased with what they released. It doesn't feel tacked on or boring, and really suits the theme. Like, just looking at it right here, the outfits, the presets are pretty damn good. And, there is, when you get the Nightblade vehicle, the actual motorcycle, there is unlocks you get with that particular one. So if you're, just playing this DLC in the first week, I'd definitely suggest buying that vehicle and getting the unlocks as soon as possible. If you have got the Halloween DLC unlocks for face paints, they're absolutely fucking perfect for this DLC. It's absolutely perfect. The biker helmet I'm wearing now is a chrome dome, and you will need to have this particular type of this helmet to use the new masks. Unfortunately, they actually go with the helmet itself, and they're not not until someone finds some sort of clothing glitch. I bet you there'll probably be something that they'll find that will be able to get rid of the biker helmet and still keep the mask on. But for the most part, I'm very impressed with what they've actually released in terms of clothing in general. I don't know. For me, it's compared to what I've seen in the past, I would say this is probably one of the best DLCs I've ever played, to be honest. And even Finance and Felony added a lot of things to the game, and I like the office and I like the different aspects to it, but it was very time consuming. And as we get a bit further into this, you'll see that one of the features that they've added here is that instead of like the warehouse and selling and obtaining crates, you have the option to, one, steal the supplies instead, so it doesn't cost anything, but you will have to do a mission to do it. And at the same time, you also have the option to just let the money build up. Instead of having to repeatedly do missions to build up the stock sale, over time you can just go out, do your thing in free mode, have fun with combat, and the money will pile up. Now there is a limit though, compared to say a full warehouse is probably like $2 million, whereas a fully upgraded, I picked the most expensive business first, and I also fully upgraded it, which cost me the first one is roughly about 900 grand, 500 grand, and then 300 grand. So you put that all together, and it's about 1.7 originally when I paid for that particular business, and then stuck that together, roughly about 4 million. It's helpful because it reduces raids and makes it a little bit easier when they happen. And they do seem to happen a lot more frequently than what you might expect from Finance and Felony. Because I haven't ever had a raid on my warehouse, like ever. Whereas within a couple of days after release and buying the business and setting up and running the DLC, I actually, first time, just after I finished this recording, I actually got raided. And it wasn't too hard. It doesn't affect the amount of money that you had during the mission. As long as you've completed within the timer, you won't be affected. So you got, what, for me it was kill 10 cops, and then you had to go and rescue the staff members which were in some sort of van, which was also pretty easy as well. So don't feel too... Well, then again, I also paid for the upgrades that make raids easier and less frequent, so... It depends on the situation. It might be different for you if you haven't had the time to rack up the money to buy those certain things. But if you do, I would. Just in case, because for me it was pretty easy. I only killed 10 cops. They were all pretty underpowered. And then it's just a matter of going up to the van, walking up, pulling the police officer out, and to just steal the van. Apart from that, though, the tattoos are not too bad. They're not quite as impressive as Cunning Stunts, because a lot of the Cunning Stunts DLC added a lot more. I thought the DLC from that one had a lot better tattoos. So I always loved the fully colored ones as opposed to the just black ink styled ones. And unfortunately, a lot of these are more suited to that style. There is a few cool ones with color in it, but not as many. Like maybe only about 4 or 5. And however, the ones that do exist are pretty good. There's also another tattoo that now goes onto your face for once, which is some sort of spider-looking tattoo. And pretty good. I'm not surprised about the date of this DLC because given that the actual face paint works so well with the whole biker theme. I think that, it'll definitely be re-releasing the Halloween stuff this year, and I'm hoping for extra stuff, but you don't really know. They may have put some things in there. The only thing that I'm really pissed off with, besides the fact that Camaro, I think the Nagasaki Camaro motorcycle with the three wheels, doesn't have the ability to put bulletproof tire, but that's not only it. Now, when I thought biker DLC, why I knew it was going to be almost exclusively bikes, I was at least expecting them to finally release a DLC that would allow us to purchase the lost MC van, the Slam van, not the version that we got for Lowriders or the festive version, which is a piece of shit. The actual one that people originally had to glitch in their garages, and ironically speaking, found out that you could go into the fucking garage with it and actually mod it. Like legitimately, it had assets in there you could actually purchase, libraries, shit like that, and for some reason they banned people for it. Well, okay, well why don't you release it as a DLC so we can purchase it and we can enjoy it? No. They didn't. I don't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me. It's such a cool looking vehicle. It might not be great utility, but it'd be good to have in a garage or a car show if you're into that kind of thing. And it certainly had a bit better control and especially speed. It had a lot of speed. Here it is. This particular one here on the other leg. Shut the fuck up. I love that tattoo. It's awesome. But overall though, having no slam van means that it feels incomplete in that way, because we still haven't. I think Heist was 2 years or going on 2 years ago now, and still haven't released a proper DLC including it. What the fuck is that about? I don't get it. I really don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't. But apart from that, though, I'm actually quite impressed. I think that they've taken the formula of Finance and Felony and improved greatly on that. Not only do you have to stick your fucking nose into these crate missions, and it's a bit of a drag, to be honest. You can possibly do both, like stock up on warehouse and gradually get it to that. I don't think that you really get raided until your attendant calls you and says, oh, when you get to a certain point, there's a chance you might get raided by opposing gangs. So don't worry too much about that. Now here, the actual hairstyles, limited, but quite a lot more than what's been released in the past. And I'm impressed by that. I like the new hairstyles. They seem not boring. And on top of that, they just suit the fucking feel of it. Although I had a hard time deciding on which one I really wanted on my character, but anyway. And like I said, the face paints for from Halloween are just perfect. But anyway. Overall though, just going back, I just think that they've really improved the formula with the actual missions. They've taken what I personally thought was fucking boring, and they've turned it around where you can at least build it up and do something else on it. You can enjoy combat as long as you keep the supplies, which you don't have to do as often as, say, what you probably expect from a CEO. But at least it gives you option to do other things. It gets boring, man. To make any decent money for the CEO side of things, it takes me about 4 to 5 hours to stock up on a warehouse. Now, it might be easy for you, but when I do things, I generally do it the smart way. Play in a public server with almost no people in it, and then just keep stacking up, using the buzzard to pretty much do everything, and then occasionally the armored kuruma. Here, on the other hand, some of the missions, though, are difficult in the sense that you will die multiple times, and not all of them are just about shooting people. In fact, if you do that, you'll fail them. One particular mission you might end up doing is it takes you to the tequila bar, which is in the cutscene for a police job. And what you do is you go in there and you can beaten up the MCs until you find the package that you're after for resupply. However, it doesn't let you use any kind of weapons other than your fists. However, on the other end, the gangsters inside the MC eventually start using switchblades and pole cues, and they start to get very hard to fucking fight. Because it's like 6 of them with a fucking switchblade, and you get staggered. So, just be aware of that. Yes, it will happen. It will be difficult, not impossible to do on your own, but possible. And overall, though, there is the option to sell to 2 individual locations. At least it was for me. And the first one, the one below it, is clearly supposed to be easier and intended for that purpose. But if you look at the second one, it gives you a bit more money. And so I would suggest either going into a lower populated server or getting a full crew together to protect you. There's really no point in doing anything like this with a fuck all people in a huge server, because like I expected, I wasn't just a few minutes ago I was playing again, and I'm trying to do it by myself because I've got bugger all people on my MC, and I'm still trying to find people, but it's very difficult at the moment to find that. So, I'm still waiting for it. I got, attacked by 2 hydras and, 3 other fucking motorcycle guys, and they're all just hanging around the package. Now, they're clearly at this point trolling, so I said, well, fuck it. So I said, well, fuck it. I don't need to worry about it. I don't want to waste my time bloody pissing around, giving them a good time by bloody allowing them trolling. I just skip out. I'm not really bothered about making money that much that I have a trouble. And the great thing is, you don't lose anything by fucking up a steal mission. You lose nothing. All I have to do, click new session, and I'm done. So that, in a sense, makes it a little bit easier for players who get sick of being trolled. But it's still quite fun to do a bit of trolling on the other side of things. Especially, my mind, I want to do is get a large group of people together with these grenade launchers and just go around with the motorcycles and just charge people down that got their supply missions going, and just spam them with fucking grenades and blow them up. That would be fucking hilarious. Apart from that, though, yeah. So far, I think the formula is very well improved, and clothing options are impressive. The sale missions, well, before it used to be that it was very difficult for you to fuck up on the timer, but I actually got to a point where I was starting to worry about whether I was going to be able to complete it in time. Having close to the maximum amount of sale price, it ended up becoming, I think I had about 6 to 5 minutes doing it by myself, because I had to pick up 3 different choppers and take them to their locations. Imagine if I had to do it with fucking trucks, which you do have to do, actually. There's quite... I was pretty lucky I got at least with choppers. If I had anything else, I probably would have never made it. So, to be perfectly honest, I think that they've tried to organise in such a way that you do really need the extra players, and playing in low populated servers is not going to help you very much. But, well, what you can do. I would say that this could be a really good move because, let's be honest here, I don't want to play a game just to make it a chore just so I can have prep money to buy fucking shit for the next DLC. I want to play it so I'm having fun. Even it is risky and you could lose something, but at least you've got the option there. But yeah, I think that what they should do next, though, is release a fucking casino or any of these interiors. They've missed out on so many opportunities in the past. What really pisses me off is that we just don't see enough interiors in this world. For the most part, it's just fucking around outside. You've got all these buildings, you've got all these areas, and for the most part, they're just some stupid thing with low-res textures sitting there pretending that there's lights on. But in truth, they're really just fucking textures. To me, I've always found... I get it, it's a very large world, and create that many interiors would be time-consuming and expensive for a game development cycle, but at the same time, I get tired of looking at this world and it feels very, very lifeless in a way. For the most part, the pedestrians give it some life, but they don't. When it comes to the buildings, it feels very like, is anyone home? No, it doesn't feel like that to me. And of course, we've been waiting forever. I don't know whether they're going to do something similar though. I'm hoping that in the given, in like maybe December, they might release something like Executives. But let's hope, for God's sake, that they don't release something... I'm going to be honest with you, I never really liked Executives. No one really goes on the boats anymore, and they're just very expensive fucking hotels on water. We were half expecting us to actually be able to pilot these fucking boats, these luxury yachts. Instead, it's just a glorified fucking cutscene that pisses around the map. Why would anyone want to do that? And not only that, you got to pay 20 grand each time to do it for the privilege of moving your shit around, and on top of that, it might not stick anyway because some of the more popular areas to stick your boats won't be available, and your boat will appear somewhere halfway across the map where you don't fucking want it. So I found that, from my perspective, the VIP missions and everything was added there. Not only was it just 4 fucking people, it was very limited and kind of boring, hacked together sort of standard issue sort of stuff we've seen before. Then, of course, Final Fantasy. Fantasy, yeah, it's Final Fantasy now, guys. Finance and felonies ended up adding something a bit more substantial as well. And now you got the biker DLC, which gives us, well, to be honest, some of the best missions I've seen so far. It's a bit more, it mixes it up. It's not always about just shooting the fuck out of people. And for the most part, I'm very impressed with that. The only thing I'm not really, those 2 points I mentioned, is the fucking Chimera not having the ability to put fucking bulletproof tires on it for no fucking other reason than, oh, okay. And that the slam ban is still something that has not made it into the game. I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. There's another thing. Now this is offshoot, but I'll be talking about this in a separate video. And probably in a bit more detail, but they finally added, Bethesda has finally announced that the mods are going to come to the PS4. However, I wouldn't be too excited for it. In fact, I would say if you're planning to go on the PC version of Fallout 4, I would just stick with that. There really is no reason, given what I've read, to be worrying about mods, apart from putting Ballista Weave on gear that should have had Ballista Weave on in the fucking first place. Like Paladin Brandis's, black, was it the black version of the BOS suit? Can't remember the exact name of it right off the top of my head, but I remember there was one you could pickpocket or kill in order to get this black version, which looked really cool, but for some reason Bethesda in its all great wisdom decided to not put Ballista Weave as an available mod for it, which makes role-playing a fucking lot more viable and not have to rely so heavily on power armors, which are just tanks, and you get sick of them. But yeah, like that, it's off topic, but I'm gonna have to say though, yes, mods are coming to the PS4 copy of Fallout 4, but I'll discuss it in a video, but from what I've read, basically a lot of the, probably the majority of mods that you want to get, they're not going to be available because of the restrictions they play. It makes sense given what Sony is. From my impression, Sony was always being against it because they don't want the system compromised by malicious hackers. And given what the restrictions are and what's available compared to the Xbox and PC, I think that's exactly what they're worried about and why they're so hesitant compared to any other platforms to put in and make it available. So, just to give you a short, before I get onto that particular video and I've done it, the short story is, you've got basically the cheat mod, and that's it. Other than that, it's restricted the mod creation so much, I wouldn't fucking care. I'm sticking with PC. I'm working towards getting a better PC at the moment, and I'm hoping that way now I can finally play it with better textures and a better frame rate, because for me right now the computer struggles and it has frame rate drops depending on how hot it is, and I'm hoping that finally when I get this PC organised, I won't have to worry about that, and I'll just completely abandon the PS4 altogether in terms of Fallout. But yeah, it's not worth it. I've basically got a game that is completely half-assed version compared to the other two. It's not worth it. No matter the compromises that they've made, that all they've done is tried to justify. And the Bethesda fucking. Now, I'll get into that in the next video. I'm really pissed off about that because all we got is this half-assed fucking version, and it's getting to me. I've only just found out about it. In the last few hours, what this availability really means, and it's completely half-assed, and I'm not impressed. So I'm gonna put it in a video. I'm gonna get real pissed off because it's getting to me. Anyway, and also to mention, the Fagio mod. This particular vehicle is really good. In terms of modifications, it looks fucking bonkers, but also cool at the same time. Compared to the other one, which is just the standard model, as it is in the picture, you can't really put a lot of stuff on it. This one, however, at the other hand, has got all these mod options. And I'm really impressed. Really cool. But anyway, off topic. So, I've got a few more videos I've got to work on and get out. Probably got a real big backlog. So, I'm hoping by the end of tonight I've got most of what I intended out and ready. Depending on, I'm also struggling to get a proper recording at the moment. Mostly because of, at the moment, a lot of people with their V8 engine cars are running by my apartment building, and that shit echoes up here, and it's getting into the recordings as well. So I've sort of got to wait a little bit before, and hopefully I'll get it done as quickly as possible, because I've still got some sort of page of nonsense to write and submit by tonight, and then hopefully I'll get the other stuff out. I've got a Fallout 4 glitch. I think it's a infinite experience, and it still works. I only tested a couple days ago. I don't think the recording wasn't that old. It's probably like 2 or 3, 4 days ago. So it should be alright, and I should be able to just put that up, and anyone who's interested in using infinite XP on there. But given that PS4 mods are finally coming out for Bethesda's for Fallout 4, I would say that they probably won't matter in the next month or so. It won't be out until after the release of Skyrim HD version. From what I understand, that they won't be releasing the mod support for that until after the release of that. But like I said, it's going to have the same restrictions as Fallout 4, which means that the majority of mods that people want won't be available to the players. So why fucking buy it? Because they're trying to write it off that way, is because no one in their right mind would want to choose a platform for a game and get a version of their game that is half-assed and gives you fuck... Yeah, it's getting to me. It's fucking stupid. And Bethesda's trying to write it off and try and pretend it's like, oh, this is great, it's an expansion, it's amazing, we finally got it to all platforms, everyone gets a fair go, no one's getting fucked over. Actually, yes you are. It needs a separate video, and I need to face the camera and talk about this, but for the most part, yeah, no, not worth it. Both have got the restrictions on it, and I will talk about that in a bit more detail and show you some of the articles that demonstrate exactly what is wrong with this mod, or quote-unquote mod support. Anyway, this is me, Possible. I'll see you guys on the next one.